Hello, and welcome to the Summer 2023 Program Administrative Training. To ensure that you receive credit for this training, please be sure to complete the associated quiz. Here's our agenda for today's training. We have a lot to cover. Please feel free to contact CANS with any questions that you may have. So a little bit of background on Summer Food Service Program. The Summer Food Service Program provides free, nutritious meals to children in mostly low-income areas. Participating children must be 18 years of age or younger. If a participant has a disability and older than 18 and participates during the school year in a public or private nonprofit program, they are also eligible to receive meals. The program helps low-income families stretch their food buying dollars through the summer months. Remember, while the child is in school, lunch and many times breakfast is provided to children at no charge or very low cost for the 9 months. At last, the activities programs for these children help keep them mentally engaged and ready to learn when the school year begins. The summer program operates when school is not in session, typically from the end of the school year, which is late May or early June, and then ends August or early September. These dates vary across the state. The Summer Food Service Program is federally funded but is administered by the South Dakota Department of Education through Child and Adult Nutrition. The key players of SFSP are the state, which is CANS, Child and Adult Nutrition Services. You sign agreements, or the state sign agreements with sponsors, provide technical assistance and training, and monitor and distribute reimbursements. The sponsors, you handle administrative and training for sites, reports to the state, and then your sites feed and supervise kids and provide activities. There are many useful resources to assist you with the operation of SFSP. Here are some examples. CANS, of course, the DOE CANS website, the DOE SFSP website, the SFSP handbooks, which are USDA handbooks, ICAN, download forms under ICAN, iLearn, which is our new learning management system, and of course the CANS emails. More details on iLearn. Instead of contracting with SurveyMonkey or SD BrightTrack, CANS has contracted with a new learning management system. We refer to the system as iLearn. Please visit the CANS website if you need access to this. USDA has many great resources as well, such as regulations, frequently asked questions, program guidance handbooks, and toolkits. In addition, there is also the Food Buying Guide, which assists sponsors with food yields and program meal patterns. We are to our first knowledge check. What is the name of the new CANS learning management platform? If you answered C, iLearn, you are correct. USDA has released information that will allow non-congregate grab-and-go meals in summer 2023. CANS is marketing this as grab-and-go. This option is only available for eligible rural area sites with no congregate meal service options. Children may only be reimbursed for non-congregate meals in area-eligible areas or other areas if the child is free and reduced eligible. All meals must meet all state and health, safety, and sanitation standards and other SFSP requirements. Please contact CANS if you are interested in operating a grab-and-go site for more details. Summer EBT. So USDA released rules, or will be releasing rules December 2023 about summer EBT. Implementation will be summer 2024. If you have any questions on summer EBT, please feel free to contact CANS. The sponsor is required to attend state administrative training. That is why you're listening to this session today. As a sponsor, an organization at minimum will attend the state agency's training, locate and recruit eligible sites, hire, train, and supervise staff and volunteers. In the SFSP Administrator Handbook, there is a training checklist that is recommended for use when training staff on regular job duties. Proper training and support for the SFSP staff throughout the summer will ensure that all meals will be eligible for reimbursement and that all records are available and accurate to document the costs and meals claimed. Competitively procure food to be prepared or a vendor for meals to be delivered. Monitor all sites, prepare claims for reimbursement, ensure that sites are sustainable, and maintain all program documentation for 3 years plus the current year. Site responsibilities are to attend sponsor training, prevent discrimination, supervise children as they eat in approved dining areas if applicable, offer and serve reimbursable meals to all children, complete meal counts, and then ensuring that staff understand what a reimbursable meal is based off of the meal counts. Site responsibilities continued. Maintain and complete accurate paperwork. If self-preparation site, maintain proper sanitation and health standards as required by state and local laws. And if a vended site, order and receive meals. Training requirements. The sponsor is required to attend state administrative training. As I mentioned before, that is the reason why you were listening to this session today. The sponsor is then required to train and document at least one on-site personnel per site before the summer food service program begins. Regulations require that at least one trained site personnel be on site at the time of meal service for the meals to be claimed. Personnel include the office staff, area supervisors, and most importantly, monitors. See the SFSP Administrative Guidance Handbook, Administering the Program on page 109, and see attachments 15 on pages 175 through 178 for training requirements. Attendance at the SFSP operational training hosted by CANS does not replace the sponsor's training requirements. The sponsor must still train their staff. In addition to information listed regarding site personnel, civil rights training must be completed for all, regardless of whether they're a staff or a volunteer. And then all documentation must be maintained at the site or the sponsor's location for 3 years plus the current year. Site eligibility. There are 3 main types of sites. First, we'll discuss open. There are 2 types of open, normal open or restricted open. Open sites serve free meals to all children 18 years of age or younger, first come, first served basis. Restricted open means participation imposed due to security, safety, or space or control, and therefore children capacity is monitored or restricted. For open sites, area eligibility may be used. Area eligibility means that the site is in a location where at least 50% of the children in the area qualify for free or reduced price meals. To determine area eligibility, you can either use school or census data. If school data is used, please use the South Dakota enrollment list for October on the CANS website under the Documents tab. This information is used for the site application on ICANN. Please note that the data is used to be from school and attendance area of the site, so the school could be in the elementary, middle, or high school within the attendance area. Please see the Selecting Site document on the CANS website for more information. If census data is used, this data is updated by USDA. School and census data is valid for 5 years. Site eligibility continued for closed enrolled. For closed enrolled sites, all children must be enrolled in an eligible program. Like with open sites, to determine eligibility, you can either use school or census data. And once again, that school data is located on the CANS website under the Documents tab. And as previously mentioned, the census data is updated by USDA, and both school and census data is valid for 5 years. In addition to close enrolled, you can also use free and reduced price meal applications. If you utilize this option, you must ensure that an eligibility roster is maintained. Site eligibility resources. So this picture on the slide is the South Dakota site enrollment list for school year 22-23. When you click on the document, an Excel page will appear, and you can narrow down your search by the school type at the top of the document. This is an example of the USDA eligibility area mapper. You just type your address in the little box, press enter, and the site will generate whether or inform you whether your site is eligible. If it's in the red, it's eligible. If not, then it's potentially not. There is the possibility of using weighted averages. If you need assistance with this, please feel free to contact CANS to help you determine. Knowledge check. Civil rights training only needs to be completed for program staff. True or false? If you answered false, you are correct. Civil rights training needs to be completed for not only program staff, but also volunteers. Special site types. Camps. In residential camps, participants are in 24-hour supervised setting and receive a regularly scheduled food service as part of the program. The non-residential campsites must offer continuous schedule of organized cultural or recreational programs for the enrolled children between meals services. They do not have to establish area eligibility, but must collect and maintain income eligibility guide, free and reduced price meal applications. In addition to this, you must make sure that a eligibility roster is maintained. Non-eligible children can be charged a separate fee for meals. Children who are not eligible cannot be reimbursed for free or reduced. Camps can claim 3 meals or 2 meals and 1 snack per child each day. Free and reduced price meal applications. For sites that collect free and reduced price meal applications, these applications are valid for 1 year upon the sponsor determination, typically 12 months. To determine if the child is eligible for free or reduced meals, the parent or guardian must complete the application fully and completely. The category is based on household size and income, or if the family is eligible for SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR. They are free. The parent or guardian must provide their program number on the application. The sponsor makes a determination on page 2, where they are required to sign and date. For more information on approving free and reduced applications, please attend the free and reduced application training on iLearn. Special site types. Mobile feeding. Mobile meals may provide flexibility to sponsors who need to reach children who do not have access to traditional sites. In rural areas where children may live in isolated locations, access to meal service sites operated by schools, parks, and recreation departments is often limited. In urban areas, violence and traffic safety concerns are examples of issues that may limit valuable options for site locations. Mobile meals. The sponsor deliver meals to an area using a route with a series of stops at approved sites in the community. The meals served must take place on approved days, and the sponsor must serve reimbursable meals during approved service meal times. In addition, you need to ensure that food safety precautions are taken during mobile delivery. This includes proper food temperatures along the entire route, food temperature logs, and ensuring that hand washing protocols are maintained. Mobile feeding continued. Site supervisor must be present at each meal service, The site supervisor travels with a vehicle along the route and stops at each site, or where meals are delivered to each site with an on-site supervisor waiting to receive the meals. Site supervisors must remain on site during the entire approved meal service time, regardless of site attendance. State and sponsor monitoring visits and reviews must still be completed and are required to maintain documentation. Additional site information. If your site operates as a summer school site, and if you wish to participate in SFSP, the site must be an open site. If the site only wants to serve to enrolled children, the site should continue to participate in an SLP. There are 2 exceptions to this basic site eligibility rules. Residential and non-residential camps may serve up to 3 meals or 2 meals and 1 snack per child per day. However, only meals served to children who meet the free and reduced price meal criteria based on household incomes will be reimbursed. The second exception for meals served is for migrant sites. In order for a site to be determined eligible as a migrant site, the location must be certified by a migrant organization. Then the site may serve up to 3 meals per child per day to all children. When completing your ICANN application, there are additional site descriptions regarding rural or urban sites. If your address is not in Rapid City or Sioux Falls, it's most likely rural. USDA has a website that we could provide you here at CANS to determine whether your site is classified as rural or urban. Please contact CANS for more information regarding this. Knowledge check. Site addresses in Rapid City or Sioux Falls are classified as metropolitan or urban areas. True. Selecting sites. It is important to sponsor adequately evaluates the needs and resources of areas they hope to serve before making final plans for site operations. First, we'll discuss accessibility. Sites should be easy to reach by foot, car, and public transit. Some children will be walking to their neighborhood site alone, so sponsors should ensure that sites are located in safe areas. Sponsors should try to avoid sites in areas with physical barriers to access, such as near a busy street or without crosswalks. Sponsors should also make sure their sites are accessible to children with and without disabilities. Site activities. Children are drawn to locations that offer educational, enrichment, and recreational activities. Selecting sites that can provide an activity along with the meal, such as an art project, games, school, or community garden, or even a nutrition lesson, is a strategy sponsors can use to boost participation and overall enjoyment at their site. Community partnerships. Sponsors may consider selecting sites based on a location potentially from community partnerships. Partnering with community-based organizations can be helpful in building awareness of the program, finding additional financial support, coordinating site activities, and recruiting volunteers to serve meals to children. Promotion. Schools who operate the NSLP are required to promote SFSP. Along with schools, other community-based organizations frequented by children and families can assist with outreach and promotion. Sponsors may consider reaching out to local health agencies, grocery stores, and social service organizations to encourage them to post or distribute flyers to patients, customers, and clients. Media promotion. Traditional and social media outlets can be extremely helpful to sponsors working to communicate with families. Sponsors may consider using the following forms of media to spread the word about your program: newspaper, Twitter, Facebook, or a radio station. Getting the word out to your community about summer meals is the key factor to ensure children have access to good, nutritious summer meals this summer. To promote your site's location, the use of SFSP banners or handouts is highly recommended. You can also share these handouts or banners with DSS offices, police and fire departments, libraries, and faith-based organizations. For more tips on promoting, please see the USDA Summer Meals Toolkit website. Health and sanitation. Sponsors must request health inspections for all meal sites. Sites operating in other child nutrition programs may document health inspection requests from choosing their programs. A template letter is on the ICANN system under the download forms. A copy of your sponsor's agency letter must be uploaded into ICANN before your application will be approved. It is the responsibility of the sponsor to ensure that this inspection is completed during program operations. Your local health department could include but not limited to Indian Health Services, the City of Sioux Falls, or the South Dakota Department of Health. During the health department's visit, they will review personnel health and hygiene, food protection, equipment, utensils, plumbing, and other operations such as light and rodent/inspection control. Reviews. During the summer months, program reviews are required. The state agency CANS will conduct site and sponsor reviews to ensure that a sponsor's overall program operation is in accordance with the SFSP regulations. In addition, technical assistance could be provided during this time. CANS reviews are completed on the ICANN system. Once completed, if there is any corrective action, it is the responsibility of the sponsor to upload that documentation to the system. The site operation review should include a meal service observation, record keeping review as well. All sponsors must make records available for the review and implement all corrective actions recommended by CANS. Selected sponsors and sites are determined on the following. If the sponsor is new and has not operated the program in the prior year. In addition, an aggregate total of 1/2 of the total meal reimbursements received from the state in the prior year. Any sites that experience significant operational problems, and reviewed each year, at least once in every 3 years. Sites are selected based on a 10% of the total number, whichever is greater. The sponsor's initial site during this visit sponsor initial site visit. This visit is to occur during the first 2 weeks for new sites with operational program issues the prior year, and any site that the state agency determines a visit is needed. The state agency establishes criteria for operational issues to assist sponsors. During the initial site visit, food service reviews can now occur during that same visit. Please see the sponsor monitoring guide for more information. Monitoring sites. Monitoring is essential to making a program successful. Having knowledgeable, trained monitors will ensure program operators comply with program requirements and run more smoothly. Monitors are required to perform site visits and site reviews at various times throughout program operations. Site visits requires the monitor to ensure that food service is operating smoothly and that any apparent problems are immediately resolved. Site visits require monitors to determine if the site is meeting all various program requirements. Monitor must observe and complete meal service from beginning to end, including delivery or preparation of meals, the meal service, and cleanup after meals. The sponsor must conduct a review of food service at least once in the first 2 weeks of operation. All visits and reviews must be documented. Records of visits and reviews will help sponsors assess the operation of sites. Records are only useful, however, when they are carefully reviewed by sponsor personnel and when follow-up monitoring is scheduled to ensure that any corrective action have been taken to improve site operations. Each sponsor must therefore design a tracking system for handling monitor reports. Sponsors should have a system that will ensure that monitors return reports frequently, if possible every day. The report should be immediately reviewed by the specific person responsible for overseeing monitoring. The staff members should review any problems, call the site supervisor, document corrective action taken, schedule follow-up reviews if necessary, and then of course sign and date the report. Knowledge check. What is the time frame a new site must be visited? If you answered B, second week of operation, you are correct. Meal requirements. Sponsors may serve 1 or 2 meals a day at open, restricted open, and enrolled sites. With state agency approval, sponsors may serve 2 meals, including snacks, each day. Sponsors may choose which combination of meals they would like to serve. However, serving lunch and supper on the same day is not allowed. So if you're an open, restricted open, and enrolled sites, you can serve the following: breakfast and lunch, breakfast and snack, lunch and snack and dinner. If your site is a camp or a migrant, you may serve up to 3 meals, including snacks, each day. Allowable meal combinations include breakfast, lunch, and supper, breakfast, lunch, and snack, lunch and supper and snack. Any combination of meals or snacks that is less than the maximum number is allowed. This slide outlines the SFSP meal pattern requirements. All meals served need to meet these requirements in order to receive reimbursement. For breakfast, the meal pattern requires that 3 food components are served in the required portion sizes. These components and portions are 8 ounces or 1 cup of milk, half a cup of fruit or vegetable. If serving juice, it must be full strength, and then 1 serving of grain. Grains must be whole grain rich or enriched meal or flour. Cereals must be whole grain or enriched or fortified. A 1 ounce meat alternate component is optional at breakfast. For lunch or supper, there are 4 food components that are required to be served. These components and portion sizes are 8 ounces or 1 cup of milk, 2 different items of 3/4 cup of fruit and or vegetable. If serving juice, it must be full strength and may only be counted towards 1/2 of this requirement. 1 serving of grain. Grains must be whole grain or enriched meal or flour. Cereals must be whole grain or enriched or fortified. And 2 ounces of meat alternate. Nuts and seeds may only meet 1/2 of the total meat alternate serving size and must be combined with another meat alternate to meet the lunch or supper requirement. Yogurt may be plain or flavored, unsweetened, or sweetened. For snack, you may serve any 2 of the 4 components. The snack must be comprised of 2 different components. If serving juice, it must be full strength and cannot be served when milk is the other component. Grain must be whole grain rich or enriched meal or flour. Cereal must be whole grain or enriched or fortified. Yogurt may be plain or flavored, unsweetened, or sweetened. Meal pattern adjustments. If you are serving infant age groups 0 to 11 months, you must follow the CACFP meal pattern requirements. If you are doing this, you must ensure that you attend the CACFP infant meal patterns training on iLearn. Meal service options. Sponsors may allow a child to take 1 fruit, vegetable, or grain component off-site to eat later without state agency approval. Keep in mind that if you're allowing children to take fruit, vegetable, or grain off-site, you must ensure that all state and local health, safety, and sanitation standards will be met. Sponsors should only allow an item to be taken off-site if the site has adequate staffing to properly administer and monitor the site. A state agency may prohibit individual sponsors on a case-by-case basis. Using this option if the state agency determines that the sponsor's ability to provide adequate oversight is in question. The state agency's decision to prohibit a sponsor from utilizing this option is not an appealable action. Off-site meals are allowed, however, the sponsor must complete off-site meal request form and submit 1 week prior to the event. This form is located on the ICANN system under the download forms. It's form number 021. If the form is not submitted within the time frame, which is 1 week, CANS will disallow meals. Program requirements, such as food safety and sanitation and meal patterns, etc., must still be met. If the site is an open site, operations must continue while off-site visits occur. These off-site meals are also referred to as field trips. Knowledge check. How many ounces of milk is required to be served? If you answered D, 8 ounces, you are correct. USDA foods. You must be an eligible sponsor to receive USDA foods, which means you must have operated SFSP in the prior year. If you do receive USDA foods, you must maintain inventory records and utilize the first in, first out and monitor dates, best if used by dates. Please see FD 107 USDA memo for more information. Special diets and accommodation. Please see number memo SFSP 240.1 on the CANS website. Schools must follow the same requirements as during the school year. See memo SP 40-2017. CANS is in the process of working on an updated form and training and hope to have this information posted on iLearn soon. Offer versus serve. Offer versus serve is only allowed for school food authorities or SFAs and can use the SFSP meal patterns to use SFSP offer versus serve guidelines. See page 62 of the SFSP Administrative Handbook for more information. Mealtime requirements. A minimum of 1 hour between end of one meal service and beginning of the next must be completed. This does not apply to camps. Meal service outside of approved meal times if an anticipated event occurs outside of the sponsor's control. And then, of course, breakfast. Breakfast must be served at or close to the beginning of the day and cannot be served after a lunch or supper. Another knowledge check. All SFSP sponsors can utilize offer versus serve. If you said B, false, you are correct. Offer versus serve is only available for school food authorities. Meal counts. It is critical that site personnel and monitors understand the importance of accurate point-of-service meal counts. Only complete meals served to eligible children can be claimed for reimbursement. Therefore, meals can be counted at the actual point of service, i.e., meals are counted as they are served to ensure that an accurate count of meals served is obtained and reported. Counting meals at the point of service also allows site personnel to ensure that only complete meals are served. This document is required to be attached to the sponsor's application. For meal counts to be fully completed, all blanks on the form must be completed. This form pictured is attachment 18 from the SFSP handbook, also available as downloadable on the ICANN system. This document is required to be attached to the sponsor's ICANN application. For meal counts to be fully completed, all blanks on the form must be completed. And the form must be signed by the meal count attendant. As a reminder, the meal count form is a legal document and is very important. Pictured here is an example. Can you tell me what is wrong with this meal count form? Unfortunately, for this example, there are no issues as everything on the document was completed correctly. Here's another example. Can you tell me what is wrong with this meal count form? If you said that the following issues were: the meal type was not circled, the date was not listed, the meal count was sloppy and not correct, and that they fully didn't complete the form, you are correct. All errors on this meal count are highlighted as pictured. Another example, can you tell me what is wrong with this form? If you said that the issues were: a site name wasn't listed, circled 2 meal types, didn't complete meals served, received, or prepared, and they didn't sign and date, you are correct. All issues are highlighted on this picture. Now, to adult meals. First and foremost, all children are to receive a meal first. Program adults who work directly with the meal service at the summer meal site may be served free. However, these meals cannot be claimed for reimbursement, but can be as an operational cost. The meal count form, you must ensure that meals served to children, program adults, non-program adults must be counted and recorded separately, as indicated on the meal count form. Any non-program adults, for example, parents or guardians, may be served a meal free or be charged. If charged, you as a sponsor must ensure that that information is included on your site's ICANN application. In addition, these meals cannot be claimed as operational costs or submitted for reimbursement. Now let's check. Adult meals can be claimed for reimbursement. If you said B, false, you are correct. Adult meals cannot be claimed for reimbursement. Procurement. Procurement is the process of purchasing goods or services. This process can be longer or shorter depending on what will be purchased and how much money is spent. Sponsors are required to have a written procurement plan that is to guide purchasing decisions. Use the procurement plan template to assist you with developing your plan. The template is located on the CAN's website under the Procurement tab. Or you can contact CAN's and have the email directly emailed to you. If you do not have the capacity to prepare meals at your site or a central kitchen location, you can purchase meals from a vendor or your local school district. All vended meals and food service management contracts must meet additional procurement requirements. For assistance with FSMC contracts, please contact Quanah Keyser, who is our procurement specialist, for more information. Purchasing meals from local school districts does not require any additional procurement steps. When delivering meals, be sure that no more than 1 hour lapses at the beginning of the meal service. Also, normal health and safety procedures must be followed. In addition, effective July 1st, 2023, the state procurement threshold will be changed to $50,000. Local procurement. Summer is a great time to take advantage of the local produce grown throughout South Dakota. Sourcing local products and scratch cooking meals when possible can help alleviate supply chain issues as you pivot more easily to create nutritious meals based on what you have instead of waiting for a shipment of specific product. Sponsors can even shop at farmers market or the grocery store to find local products. If you wish to have more information regarding local procurement, please contact Cinda Frey for more information. Civil rights. As I mentioned earlier in this training, all staff and volunteers are required to be trained in civil rights on an annual basis. All sponsors who participate in federal child nutrition programs must have a system to collect racial and ethnic data of program applicants and participants on an annual basis. The collection of this information cannot be visually identified, so be sure you're following that practice. Sponsors of residential camps must collect and maintain this information separate from each camp session. For all other sites, sponsors must count the participating children at least once during the site's operation. Meals should be served to all children regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, age, for disability and allow all children equal access to facilities at the site. In addition, the site must provide translation as needed to all participants. In addition, displaying the And Justice for All poster, or AJFA, is required at each site. To request a poster, please contact CANS. Photocopies of the poster are not required or not permitted. Non-discrimination statement. For program-related material, you either need to include the full non-discrimination statement or a shortened version, which is this institution is an equal opportunity provider. Example of materials include press release or sponsor site advertising information. Knowledge check. A photocopy of the And Justice for All poster can be posted for public viewing. A, true or B, false? If you said B, false, you are correct. It must be original poster, and if you need a copy, please contact CANS. ICANN advance requests. Advance requests for operational and/or administrative costs are available. These requests must be completed in the ICANN system and will be reviewed by the DOE Finance Program Specialist and the SFSP Specialist. If using interest-based bearing accounts for advances, you may retain interest according to allowable costs for SFSP FNS Instruction 796-4 Revision 4. Startup payments. Up to 20% approved administrative budget is allowed. You must provide written justification. And then the state agency can't provide any earlier than 2 months before its scheduled food operations begin. And then, of course, repayments are deducted from first admin cost advance or reimbursed claim payment. Pictured are the 2023 SFSP reimbursement rates, which are posted on the CANS website under the Claim Information tab, as well as updated the ICANN system. These rates are effective from January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Financial documentation. Another piece of financial management is documenting all program costs and income. Documentation allows you to easily ensure and show that all summer food service program reimbursements are being used solely for conducting nonprofit food service operations. Records to support operating costs include purchasing invoices and receipts, receiving reports and/or delivery slips, and inventory records. Administrative costs include timesheets and receipts, and funds accruing to the program include deposit records, receipts, and voucher stubs. Financial management, allowable costs. These costs include costs of food, labor, and non-food supplies, and space for food service. Reimbursement may also be used to cover allowable administrative costs for activities related to programming or planning, organizing, and administering the program. You want to ensure that all costs are necessary and reasonable for proper and efficient administration of the program and be authorized under state or local laws. Examples of operating costs include utilities or transportation. Examples of allowable administrative costs include submitting claims and marketing and outreach. Financial management, unallowable costs. Some examples of unallowable costs include adult meals, as we have discussed in this presentation, or non-credible foods such as coffee or soda. If you need more information on financial management, allowable or unallowable costs, please see the FNS instruction or the SFSP administrative handbook. If SFSP funds are used to purchase unallowable cost items, the required corrective action is that the funds be replenished by a non-USDA funds. Record keeping. Documentation is one of the most important parts of the summer food service program. Documentation must be kept up to date and maintained on a timely basis. Here are some examples of record keeping: meal count records, training records, site and review records. Those are examples of administrative record keeping. Operational, food cost, administrative costs, labor, and other. Other costs may include non-food service supplies or mileage allowances. See page 190, attachment 22 of the SFSP Administrative Handbook. And as a reminder, all documents related to the program must be kept on file 3 years plus the current year, or potentially longer if an audit has not been resolved or you are under investigation. Production records are required for South Dakota. See page 52 of the SFSP Nutrition Guide for more information. These are reviewed during monitoring visits as well as CANS visits. And be sure that staff understands how to complete these. And as mentioned with previous slides, all documentation, including production records, must be kept on file for 3 years plus the current year. Production records continue. Production records are used to ensure that meals meet the meal pattern and that adequate food quantities are used, justified food purchases, and then of course backup meal claims for reimbursement. If you need more assistance on how to complete production records, please see the CANS training on iLearn. Here's an example of an SFSP production record. Knowledge check. All program documentation must be kept on file for A, forever, B, 2 years plus the current year, C, 6 years plus the current year, or D, 3 years plus the current year. If you answered D, 3 years plus the current year, you are correct. Another knowledge check. For second meals to be reimbursed, it cannot exceed 2% of the number of first meals by type during the claim period. This is true. A. Application and claims. Applications must be approved by CANS no later than June 1st. Applications for SFSP as well as SSO are now open, so please complete those applications as you can. When completing your ICANN application, please follow the sequence pictured. Step 1, sponsor application. Step 2, management plan. Step 3, food production facility list if applicable. Step 4, site applications. Step 5, checklist summary. Step 6, budget detail. Step 7, attachment list as needed. And then of course, which is not pictured, step 8, which is submit your application for approval. Application and claims. As a reminder, many of the ICANN application forms are available in the download forms as pictured on this slide. Application and claims continued. When claiming meals, remember that only meals that meet SFSP reimbursements or requirements can be claimed. Adult meals cannot be claimed for reimbursement. The assigned daily meal count forms must support the claims for reimbursement and completed and collected for each site. All first meals are reimbursable meals served to children and claimed. In addition, the total number of second meals claimed cannot exceed 2% of the number of first meals for each type of meal served during the claiming period. Claims should be submitted as soon as possible. However, the due date is the 10th of each month. Claims will not be paid if they are submitted beyond 60 days. If your ICANN application has any inactive sites, please contact CANS to get those sites removed or closed. Or if you need to make any updates to sites, please get that completed during the application process. If there are any changes to your agency's average daily participation or average daily meals, Please be sure to update that on the ICANN application and submit for approval. Knowledge check. You have how many days to submit a claim? A 60, B 70, C 80, D 90. If you said A 60, you are correct. Reimbursable meals. As mentioned previously, only 2 meal types at minimum unless a camp or migrant site. Lunch and supper is not allowed if combined, unless you are a camp or a migrant site, which allows up to 3 meals. Meals must be served as a complete unit with all meal components. And you must use approved meal patterns and serve meals at approved sites. If you have any meals consumed off-site or field trips, you must have those approved prior to the operations. Seriously deficient. Seriously deficiencies are grounds for application denials and termination. In addition, can impact participation in other child nutrition programs. Pictured are some seriously deficiencies that all child nutrition programs should be aware of. Non-compliance with bid procedures and contract requirements. IRS tax exemption status revoked. Submission of false information to the state agency. Failure to return any startup or advance payments. Significant violations at a sponsor's site, which are include but are not limited to non-compliance with meal service times, failure to maintain adequate records, failure to adjust meal orders to conform to violations of the number of participating children, and finally, simultaneous service of more than 1 meal to any child. Here's additional examples: claiming of program payments for meals not served to participating children, service of significant number of meals which did not include required quantities of all meal components, excessive instances of off-site meal consumption, and continued use of an FSMC in violation of health codes. Turn up the beat. The Turn Up the Beat awarded by the USDA or U.S. Department of Agriculture, FNS, or Food Nutrition Services, recognizes outstanding summer meal program sponsors who work hard to offer high-quality meals that are appetizing, appealing, and nutritious. All summer meal program sponsors in good standing, including summer food service program sponsors and National School Lunch Program Seamless Summer Option sponsors, are eligible for a Turn Up the Beat award. A sponsor may self-nominate or be nominated by another party. Each state agency determines their own deadline for nominations. The nomination must include a complete nomination form and a detailed 1-month menu. FNS evaluates and scores the nominations and notifies the winners in writing. Nominations must clearly illustrate how meals are appetizing, appealing, and nutritious. The nomination form includes short answers, questions, and menu criteria based on dietary guidelines for Americans. The criteria include serving local foods, a variety of vegetables and fruit, whole grains, and low-fat and fat-free milk. There are 3 award levels available: gold, silver, and bronze. All winners will receive a certificate and will be featured on the Turn Up the Beat USDA webpage. Some general reminders. Participant eligibility. Children must be 18 years or older, or if a person is 19 years or older and has a mental or physical disability, may participate in the program. And free and reduced applications are valid for 12 months. Additional reminders. SFSP ICANN applications must be approved by June 1st before serving and claiming meals. Be sure that you understand the difference between a rural or urban site. If you need assistance with determining that, please contact CANS. Any changes in your ICANN applications, such as dates of operation, meal times, average daily participation, or administrative program staff must be updated in ICANN. User ID requests or user request login or passwords cannot be shared amongst a sponsoring organization. If you have a staff who needs access to ICANN, please complete the ICANN user ID request form and submit it to CANS. Knowledge check. A street number must be listed for the site's physical address. A, true, B, false. This is true. Our office completes a check called the Site Finder. This is then uploaded to the USDA Summer Meals website where participants can go log on, call, or text to find a site in their area. If the sponsor does not list a street number or street address, the system errors out and we have issues. So when completing your ICANN site application, please be sure to include a street number and address. Another knowledge check. SFSP applications must be submitted by June 1st. A, true, B, false. The answer is B, false. Applications must be approved by June 1st. Please be sure that you get your application approved by June 1st by CANS. I wanted to thank you for attending this training today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Child and Adult Nutrition or CANS. Our phone number is 605-773-3413, or you can email us at doe.schoollunch@state.sd.us. In addition, please don't forget to complete the training quiz associated with this training to receive credit. And then the non-discrimination slide. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.